No, I'm fresh from doing the bug up.
We're live.
We live, boys.
Yeah, we're live.
Hello, garbage humans and all manner of spurg. Welcome to the Open House podcast for the week of October 13th, 2017.
Which is Friday the 13th.
The podcast where we are not in danger of getting killed by a mask-wearing machete man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because tonight is Hollywood America Horror Story, which is the title of the podcast tonight. Yeah. So
yeah,
you said you had something to say. You wanted to say something. You wanted to explain your little story, your little horror story.
Now, Ghostbusters. Enough said.
Ghostbusters?
Yes.
It was that terrible, wasn't it?
Yeah. It spat in the face of Thor. You know, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, but you have to realize, Chris Hemsworth was paid to do that. It didn't really do much for his career, but a lot of people found him attractive enough to be in the movie. And the thing is, that
I gotta admit, the cat's pretty cut.
Yeah, he was
He's
there.
Pretty cut for the Thunder God.
He was there.
I'll always remember him as Thor, JT.
Yeah, I understand. But Chris Hemsworth also did other movies. He didn't just do Thor. Yeah, because a lot of people made fun of that part about.
Alright, I just put in the question of the week. What is your favorite horror movie kill?
Let's see. My favorite horror movie kill. Oh boy, there's a bunch of them. Let's see, what movies did he do? Because I remembered he did. Oh yeah, he did Snow White and the Huntsman. He did Rush. He did he did the remake of New Dawn. He also did Cash. I do remember that one. Yeah, he wasn't always. Yeah, well, he started out pretty well. That's all I got to say about it. Well, the thing about that is, go ahead and tell your favorite horror kill, because I can't seem to remember mine.
Now, I don't know about you guys watching this right now, but I got a bit of a soft spot for the classics. So my favorite would definitely be the sleeping bag kill from Friday the 13th, Part 6.
Ah. Let's see. What was that one movie that I remembered? It was... Oh man, I can't remember. It was called... Let me see, Demon's Gate. Let me see if that's the one. Was that a movie? Because I can't seem to remember. The Gate. That's what it was called. That was actually that was actually an old ass movie that I used to remember as a kid.
87?
Yeah, 87. Can't seem to remember which kill actually was there. Let's see if I can remember, because it was a long time ago when I was a kid, because that movie was pretty good. It was also let me see, what else do I remember? What other? Yeah, because it was a big giant hole. It's a demon, and they didn't realize what it was. It was a fucked up movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Gate was a really weird horror movie. It was just, and there was also.
Then again, it was produced in the 80s. What do you want from me?
There was also Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead's another good, movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember my friends told me about this one B movie called The Feast, but I never got to watch that one. I heard so many jokes about that one. Let me see. House. I think House is the other one.
Wait, wasn't he that doctor guy on Fox?
Who?
House.
No. Not. It's a horror movie called House.
Ah.
And there was also House 2, which I didn't really like that one because it was more of a horror type of fantasy movie. House was basically a guy who the house was basically haunted, but it kept bringing back stuff that he feared in the past. He lost a friend in Vietnam, and what happened was that friend came back personified as an undead, soldier, and tried to haunt him and stole his son, and his son was missing. And the only way to get his son back was to step into the house and try to find what dark secrets was inside the house. And it turns out it was like a portal to another dimension and shit. And it was a weird
So it was like
story.
Insidious before Insidious was Insidious.
Yep.
Try and wrap your head around that.
And it was a comedy too. And it starred. Let me see if I can remember, because I remembered it was a really good. It was a really good movie. It starred the guy from. Let me see if I can remember, because I remembered it was that guy from. I forgot his name. From Cheers, George Wendt.
Oh yeah, I was about to look it up for you, but
Yeah, George Wendt was a pretty good actor for his time. He starred in that movie too. And it was a pretty good movie, and I actually liked it, because the part where he actually pulled a grenade and killed him. That was the best kill ever. Because he pulled a grenade and put it into his chest and blew him up.
I guess that's what inspired that Have a Blast fatality from Stryker in MK9.
Yeah.
Oh, Ed Boon.
Yeah.
Then again, Boone's the same guy who had Robert Englund voice Scarecrow.
Oh, yeah.
And Jeffrey Combs voicing Brainiac.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are going on in Hollywood right now that are basically turning shady, and I feel bad for this situation.
Like the whole Weinstein debacle.
Yeah. I kind of laughed at that situation, to be honest, because it's like everyone's bringing up like old stuff. Like, I kind of had to listen to Waltz about that whole situation from the last live stream. Like, there was some deep dark shit going on in California, like, no joke. And that's...
I get that it's dark, so here's some Scarecrow to brighten up your mood with a screen share.
I would, but it's not something I would do, because the topic is Hollywood horror story, American horror stories.
That would make a great season of American Horror Story proper.
Yeah, because
FX, if you're watching this, get on that mofo stat.
Yeah, because there's a lot of crazy stuff that's going on. It's like there is so much junk. Like right now, Rose McGowan is like flipping out on Twitter, because she right now there's a big protest that is going on Twitter. It's called Women Boycott Twitter.
Well then, how are they going to spread the gossip?
It wouldn't matter.
I thought that was women's job.
Well,
that and making sandwiches.
Well,
Wow.
the problem.
I am such a prick.
Yeah, there's a problem. There's a problem with because right now, you know, I saw a lot of people getting upset about some things, and it's weird though because it was just so bad.
Or I can break out again. Sorry, so I can break out again.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to channel my inner scarecrow.
Yeah,
Makes sense also.
There's been a lot of issues. Like right now, let's see here. Jimmy Kimmel defends the lack of Harvey Weinstein jokes. I'm not a moral conscious of America. Jimmy became American.
Oh, Jimmy boy! This is, and keep in mind, people, this is the same moron who endorses gun control after the Las Vegas shooting. And I don't even find the guy funny.
Well, he's been around for a long time, man. He did his own thing, got famous
For smuggling a presumed Yeti any part?
Probably. It's kind of weird because there's so much junk happening. It's like this is not a good day.
So what was with the Interpol Chan jokes?
Interpol Chan jokes? There's so
Yes.
many. There's so many of them.
I meant that you make at my expense.
Don't feel bad, man. That's the point. Because you kind of pissed off some people, and that's what happened. Because Ralph kind of mentioned to me that they had people secretly messaging him from private, and they were sending like messages to him about it. I'm just assuming that's Interpol Chan trying to.
Well, this is what's going to be greeting them. A 50-foot tall Freddy Krueger voiced scarecrow.
Okay.
That'll send him running to the hills.
You're gonna have to pay Robert Englund to do that stuff.
Walked right into that one, didn't I? I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Yep. Don't worry about it.
Well, if you want to hear how scathing Scarecrow can be to anyone,
it could be.
Seriously. I think England was trying his best to channel Freddy.
Well, yeah, that's the point. He was trying to scare people.
Let me just say that he did a pretty bang-up job.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
What's been going on and in other news? Did you hear about what's been going down in wine country?
No. What's going on?
And no, I'm not talking about the SJWs part of California.
No, what's going on?
There's been a giant-ass wildfire about the size of New York. 21 dead. God knows how many missing.
That sucks. Lately, things have been... Lately, there's been a lot of disasters going on, and it's been...
Hurricanes, wildfires.
Yeah.
What's next? A really bad earthquake that'll turn California into a great barrier reef?
Mexico actually got hit by an earthquake.
Yeah. My heart goes out to the people of all those disasters.
Yeah. At least I don't...
Everybody, including the chaos god of death and disease, knows that I'm a good-hearted individual.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Despite my allegiances to a certain chaos god of knowledge, who shall remain nameless.
Yeah. Well, today I managed to buy a video game. It was Gundam Versus for PlayStation 4. I haven't played it yet. I'm trying to finish up on a game that I want to beat for a while. It's the, let me see, it's, what is it called? Space Hulk Deathwing. I'm trying to beat that game. I'm trying to beat the story mode for it. It's a very hard game, but it's fun. It has an interesting storyline to it.
Also, in regards to Scarecrow, there's one set of face headgear of his that gives him Freddy Krueger's hat.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'm gonna see if it's in this video. Good
evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? Tonight we are talking about weird shit that's happening in Hollywood. A lot of weird
and
shit.
Scarecrow.
And Scarecrow.
Because reasons.
Because Robert Englund is alive and well. And as long as he's still around, Friday the 13th will go on forever.
That and people and the entire Justice 2 roster will still be wrecked.
Yes.
That's harder than Miley Cyrus's career.
Yes.
Or whatever is left of it. So what other weird things have been going on in Hollywood?
Well, there's been Terry Crews.
Oh, you mean the guy behind those Old Spice commercials?
Yep. Yep. He just kind of well, he went out of his way to talk about what happened to him in Hollywood, where he got anally raped, according to some rumors. He was butt raped.
Where is it?
Yes.
No, it's not there. No, that ain't it. Nope.
Yep.
Jeez. Okay, now you're just being a smart.
No,
nope.
I'm not trying to...
there it is. There's that sucker.
Yeah, Terry Crews.
No, not that. I'm talking about the hat gear, here, JT.
The hat gear, man?
Yeah, the one I mentioned, the sturdy mask of fright.
Ah.
Look at that and tell me that doesn't look like Freddy's fedora.
Yeah. Let's see. James Vanderbeek. Terry
Crews.
Yeah, Terry Crews. Apparently there's a promptu scandal that's going on.
Oh god, like we need another one of those.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It seems that let's see. My wife and I were in Hollywood function last year, and a high-level Hollywood executive came over to me and groped my private parts. Continued. Jumping back, what I said, what are you doing? My wife saw everything we're looking at him and saw he was crazy. He just grinned like a jerk. I tweeted and adding, I'm going to kick his ass right then, but then I thought twice about the whole thing. That would be appeared. Okay. So apparently, let's see here. I decided to not to take further because I didn't want to be ostracized for, of course, when the predator has power and influence. I let it go, and I understand how many women who had this happen let it go. Who are going to believe you? A few. What are the repercussions? Many. Do you want to work again? Yes. Are you prepared to be ostracized? No. Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Crews' situation because I like Terry Crews, to be honest with you. He's a really interesting, he's like a very good comedic actor.
Not to mention he's full of power.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wish he would have been a good Luke Cage, but he's very old, but I love him to death. He's a very positive person. It's just what happened to him is that he kind of felt under the fear of a Hollywood executive taking advantage of him. And yeah, I kind of feel bad. Yeah, you would have punched that guy out, but you couldn't because you did restrain yourself, and that was a good thing, because otherwise you would have lost your career there, Terry Crews. Because I feel bad for Terry, even though he gets touched in the balls the wrong way and people get him. Now let's here's another one from Vanderbeek, James Vanderbeek. Okay, I had my ass grabbed by older, powerful men. I had them corner me in inappropriate sexual conversation when I was much younger. Now, he'd been touched This is according to him on Twitter. He was touched. Michael Moore proposed a plan that would be the world without Harvey.
You keep him busy with those stories, JT.
Yeah.
I gotta do something.
Okay, go ahead. Now, Mika Kelly, latest Weinstein accuser, apologizes for obliging his orders to be complicit. That's another one. Okay, so let's see here. Strange things. What's going to happen to these kids? Let's see. Robin Thread rundown shows promise. Okay, nope. What else is new? Ashley Judd became to be celebrated to speak the truth and power, honor women's media awards. Okay. I don't think she should. But then again, she did. Let me see. James Moore apologized for a joke in 2011. Joked about a rape fantasy in the world of Game of Thrones. No big deal. Because I know Jason Momoa, because I remembered him in a show called, let me see, it was, the first time I saw him was back in, when they had Baywatch Hawaii. He actually first started as a lifeguard in the show. I forgot the character's name, but I remembered he played in that, he played the lifeguard on the show. Very nice guy. Now, let's see. Who else do I think is very... Who I think is very interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, here's another one. Steven Seagal faces allegations in the wake of Harvey Weinstein's scandal fallout. Yeah, I heard some rumors about Steven Seagal with some sexual harassment with some actresses that wanted to be in movies. She alleged in 1996, when she was 31 years old, Guerrero asked an audition at Steven Seagal's home in the role in the film Fire Down Below. The hesitant to go alone, Guerrero said her casting agency sent someone to accompany her. When she and her family and companions arrived at Steven Seagal's home, he greeted them wearing only a silk robe. Once she had returned home, Guerrero said her manager told her that Seagal wanted her for a lead role, but she has to return to his home that night for a private rehearsal. Guerrero declined. Guerrero did earn a small role in Fire Down Below, but recounted a story on how on set Seagal whispered to the male colleagues ostensibly below her, invited her to visit the dressing room. Again, she declined. Guerrero is not, however, the first woman to accuse Seagal, 65, of inappropriate conduct. In 1995 interview, Movie Line, a former Playboy model, Janie McCarthy, recalled her audition for Under Siege 2, during which she claimed that Steven Seagal repeatedly told her to take off her dress, which resulted in McCarthy fleeing in tears. Wow, Jenny McCarthy. In 2002, Seagal was sued by a personal citizen accusing him of sexual harassment and illegal sex trafficking. Wow. Oh, shit. That's some sad shit right there. Yeah. That's how bad it is in Hollywood right now. That is some weird shit. And that's according to the Los Angeles Times, ladies and gentlemen. There's been some crazy stuff that happened. I can't blame, especially Terry Crews' wife. She happens to be a very nice woman. I kind of feel bad for her in her situation, because right now TMZ's reporting some crazy ass shit. It's like, no joke. Whether it's true or not, it's really that bad.
And I'm back.
Yeah.
So what's been going down?
Well, let's see.
Tyler Perry is one of the most important figures in Hollywood, but this success story started with horrific abuse at the hands of his father.
Yeah, that's a surprise. Let's see here. Nellie, rape accuser, says she will not testify. Wow. Nellie is being accused of rape. You know, rapper Nelly.
I know who Nelly is.
Yep.
Well, basically, morons who think that people deserve that. Well, for some international news, Germany has put the brakes on some conspiracy theorists who thought they were brainwashing their citizenry into taking in those damn dirty, those damn dirty truck of peace drivers into their lands.
What happened? The truck of peace drivers? What did they do now?
I said that they put the brakes on some conspiracy theorists thinking those damn dirty desert people are the best things since anything.
Yeah. Let me see here. Let me look at this little tidbit here. Riverdale Lily Reinhardt details the time a man in position of power tried to force himself on her.
Man in power? Me. Yes, I can create a giant freaking mech suit.
Yeah. Not that type of thing. Basically, a man in power forced her to try to, do some nasty shit.
Some stuff that is not safe for work here on the Open House Podcast.
Yeah, that's what's going on. There's also rumors of, guess what they're going to reboot?
Oh, do tell.
Roswell. You never heard of that show?
May not be the Internet Sheriff podcast, but somebody's got to do the crickets.
Yeah, well, Roswell was like a popular show back in the days. And yeah, what?
This is me when you told me about Roswell.
Yeah, you don't know. I'm just trying to explain to you. It's an old TV show.
I get that you're trying to explain it to me. It's just
It's an old TV show, very popular.
Let's put this in reverse here.
Among the X generation.
This time with these feminists who think 40K is misogynist.
Oh yeah, I do recall that one. But here's my campaign for this one.
Replacing them with the Green Lantern here, with that punk Damien replacing me.
Yeah.
Just watch and learn.
Mm-hmm.
Shank from.
Shank Funk.
As much as I don't like that little punk, as much as I don't like that little punk, I gotta admit, his sword skills give Kenshi a run for his money.
Yeah.
Ninja, vanish!
Uh-huh.
Not literally, of course, because this gravy train's just getting rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been some weird shit going on. It's like, I don't know.
Between all that and Hollywood basically legalizing biological warfare, I'm just hoping the entire state turns into a goddamn barrier reef.
Well, right now it's kind of illegal to talk about a person who has AIDS in California. I kind of feel bad because it's like, I don't know why California is doing that. I can understand the discrimination.
California is cucking itself into submission at this point.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm just trying.
We need Arnold back.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Arnold failed that part.
Should have seen that coming. Alright. What other super move stuff should I do?
Yeah. Because there's a lot of weird shit going on. It's like...
Aha! Why not two MK characters? Raiden and Subby.
What?
Yes. Raiden and Sub-Zero are both in Injustice 2 now.
Yeah.
Now get on your knees and thank Ed Boon for this.
Yeah, I know. Ed Boon's doing okay.
And they're doing, and I'm about to do this super replacement, my newest segment here that I just thought up of a couple of weeks back, on my favorite level in this whole game, the Rock of Eternity in Kandak.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously, just look at this stage and try not to get blown away.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately,
But enough gushing
I wish we could show the gameplay, but unfortunately we can't.
Oh well.
Yeah,
They can at least hear it.
Yeah, you can at least hear the fighting and the blood gushing
And the
everything.
badass sound effects.
Yes, it is true.
Seriously, NetherRealm's sound design. What do you? It's not. They're based in Chicago. What do you want from me?
What do you expect? Well, I don't know. There's a lot of weird shit going on right now. It's like I kind of feel bad for the situation that's going on with let me see what's going on here.
Oh, and in other news, Dove dared triggered the SJW overlords.
Who? Dove?
Yes, Dove.
Why did Dove do that? What did they do?
They posted a GIF, and yes, people, it's pronounced GIF, not GIF,
Yeah.
of a black woman changing into a white woman, changing into a Latino woman, to prove that all races use Dove products. And the SJWs got triggered!
That's weird. And they got triggered because of a Dove commercial.
GIF.
A gift?
GIF. G-I-F.
Yeah, GIF. I get it. A GIF.
Why is no one on here yet? It's only been like 30-odd minutes.
Let's see. So Hat in Time delivered the GameSpot review. Let's see. Let's see here. I'm looking at the Hat in Time because apparently they had a voice actor in there that people don't like. Let's see.
John Jafari?
Yeah.
Ugh.
That whole
Why can't people just leave John Tron alone? He's got a robotic bird pet that shoots eye lasers, for Christ's sake.
Let's see here. Let's see here. 7.8. Too much voice acting. Just kidding. They're entitled to their opinion.
Ay, what Black Manta and Brainiac?
Let's see here.
The latter of whom was voiced by the previously mentioned Reanimator.
Yeah. Charming words gives fresh takes on the 3D platform level archetypes. Platform is smooth. Okay, so the bad thing about it is that it's
Voice acting.
silence is by far preferable. The first world is uninspired. That's pretty much what they're saying.
I think I got some wise words for those reviewers.
Yeah. I don't.
And those words are: stop criticizing the voice acting.
Yeah. They're just.
And in
trying to
case
be
it didn't
assholes.
get through the first time, stop criticizing the goddamned voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
And in case I need to get it through their thick skulls, stop criticizing the voice acting.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like everybody wants to get their stuff off of Twitter right now. Everyone's trying to turn off their accounts on Twitter. They're trying to deactivate their account.
And why is that, pray tell?
Well, it's because of the whole narrative about harassment.
Oh, jeez. They should, because at this point the inmates are running the asylum.
Well, here's the thing. What's going on is that what happened was Rose McGowan got suspended because she leaked someone's phone number on Twitter, which you're not supposed to do. Which you're not allowed to do, because you can't really do that. And of course, Twitter had to suspend her for safety reasons, because you cannot.
That's dumb.
Yeah, and right now there is a hashtag called "Women Boycott Twitter," which caused a lot of problems, because they're making and this is one thing that I'm kind of upset about, is that you have Tara Strong talking about her
Strong.
Yeah, her harasser.
As in Harley Quinn? Tara Strong?
Yes. And My Little Pony's, she's also My Little Pony voice actress. The situation with her is that she kind of claimed that some harasser became anti-Semitic with her, and that's understandable, but they can't always do anything about anonymous assholes on Twitter all the time. Because it's just some random idiot that decides to talk shit at people.
A lapsed form of arrogance, I'd say.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem, because it
has about a superathon.
Yeah, and they did...
These Twitter complainers, me.
And the problem was they couldn't really do much of anything.
Look at this shot. Look at it. Now, I know you can't see it, but to give you guys a good view, this shot of the Batwing silhouetted against the moon, that is a nod to the 1989 Tim Burton Batman starring Michael Keaton, who you may know him from such films as The Founder and American Assassin. The more you know. Next, our boy Red Hood.
Yeah, because the problem with Twitter was a lot of people didn't like certain things, certain opinions that people make. Heck, I got blocked by people. I didn't really care.
Were you blocked by Steve Shives, though?
Yeah, I was blocked by Steve Shives.
Again? Well then,
because
Steve Shives, me.
I could probably debate Steve
I bear
Shives.
no ill will towards any of the people there. This is all just laughs, you humorless morons. Figured I'd give them a heads up.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. Steve Shives can make a logical point in his arguments and stand by his arguments, but he can't debate anybody with his arguments because he's terrible at arguments.
Not to mention he talks with stuffed animals.
Pretty much.
What kind of man-child talks with stuffed freaking animals? Needs more supers.
Yeah, well, you can't blame him. Yeah, and people get upset so badly, it's no joke. Because here's the problem with, and the fact that he wants to accuse everyone like, oh, you're a harasser, therefore I'm gonna block you because I'm smarter than you. I'm more logical than you. I can do better than you because I'm a smart white guy. Yeah, right.
Well, if you're such a smart white guy, Stevie boy, let's find your answer to this.
Yeah.
Now the first part is based off of what happened to Jason Todd.
What happened to Jason Todd?
And the second part, Tim Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those of you who don't have Batman Beyond Return of the Joker alarm bells going off in your head, by the mere mention of that name, let me give you a little powwow. In the animated series of the same name, the Joker, who in that film was animated film, was voiced by the voice acting god known as Mark Hamill. Seriously, the dude voiced the Joker from 1992 to 2017 when he did The Killing Joke. Hamill said so himself. He wasn't going to do a Joker again unless it was The Killing Joke.
Go on.
And basically, you know what? It's best if the Clown Prince of Crime says it himself.
So what happens next?
I'm getting to that. Anyway, in his words, soon the serums and the shocks took their toll. With the former being a part of that super that you just saw.
Mm-hmm. And what happens next?
Well, he turns into a bastardized little Joker, and the rest, and I'm not going to spoil the rest.
Let's see, flashback. Corey Feldman. Oh, wow, Corey Feldman.
Wait, wasn't he the guy who fessed up about all those pedos?
Yeah. And he was right about the whole situation in Hollywood.
Well, much like me, Bane doesn't take this too lightly. He uppercut, headbutt, knee to the face, and then sets up for the biggest DDT in human history.
Mm-hmm.
Contrary to what the wiki says, that's a DDT.
Okay.
It's not a brain buster, it's a DDT.
That hurts.
Now this one is one of my favorites.
His Twitter morons harassed us for a week with unfunny in the meeting line. Now the girls was banned for calling out. Oh, Seth Rogen. Oh my god.
Alright, I'm John Peterson, and this is a dude who's going to have a heart attack sounding like the Joker.
Apparently, Seth Rogen, apparently someone on Twitter, oh man, this is funny. Seth Rogen, let's just say, okay, this is what happened. His Twitter morons harassed us for a week with unfunny in the meeting line. Now, this girl was banned for calling out Seth Rogen. That's really rich, Seth. Remember when I told you to stop grabbing my breast? You laughed and kept doing it. Asshole. It was Dana Jade. And this happened on October 13th, 2017. Apparently, there's been some...
Holy shit!
Yep. Yep, Seth Rogen's been...
Freeze, what's your reaction to this?
My reaction to this?
Actually, forget
Yeah.
I'm John Peterson, and this is some dude who's going to have a heart attack sounding like the Joke.
Exposed. That's all I gotta say. Exposed, biatch. Apparently, yeah.
Exposed and turned into plant food, I'd say.
So Seth Rogen is probably gonna lose his job.
Okay, now we got Deadshot up in here. I repeat, we have Deadshot up in here. Yeah, and Deadshot in this game is voiced by McCree in Overwatch. Yeah, a.k.a. Matthew freaking Mercer.
Yeah, so apparently someone claimed, and they banned that claim of Seth Rogen...
Good party track.
Seth Rogen rips Donald Trump Jr. on Twitter after sliding to his DMs. So apparently someone called him out for it. So Seth Rogen is accused of sexual assault of a 17-year-old girl. And this happened 3 hours ago. So.
Actually, I'm here with this is lit.
Yeah. So.
Pop.
Pop, pop goes the weasel, the weasel. Pop, pop goes the weasel. That's all I got to say about Seth Rogen's situation. Seth Rogen, who one time
Just got dunked on by a smooth, suave Casanova and a cowboy.
Yeah. Yeah. Holy shit. Seth Rogen got... Oh, man. This is some funny-ass shit right here. Because all I got to say is...
We need more super moves to roast him with.
Yes, we need more... Seth, you got Ro.
Hey, Seth. You like what we got so far? Because there's plenty more where that came
Seth,
from.
we're laughing at you right now.
And at your injustice misery.
Yeah, and I feel bad for these people because right now, you know, Seth didn't deserve this, but unfortunately he did. He was asking for it.
Yo, Seth! Be sure to take a selfie of that satellite from Geostorm, Kay?
He's not in that movie, I don't believe.
I'm roasting him. And if any of you guys want to join the roast and have a Google account, feel free. This is an open house podcast, after all.
Yeah, I don't think there's not many people viewing this. It's not a matter of what you think, man. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of surprised by the situation because Seth Rogen got accused of of sexual harassment of a 17-year-old girl.
Womp womp. Boom! And now he is the punching bag of the entire Injustice universe.
Yeah.
And a couple of guys on the internet. But you know what? We don't count.
Let's see here.
We don't have any superpowers or crazy gadgets or any of that crap.
Let's see. Let's see. South Park slams Facebook for selling fake news. Let me see what else is there.
Then again, it's South Park.
Yeah. Actually, they did an episode that kind of slams the fake news stuff.
Then again, South Park takes the piss out of everything.
Let's see. Who else do I want to look at? Let's see. Arcania survey is wrong about loot boxes and gambling.
And they're still going after Seth Rogen.
Yep.
You know what? Forget Tariq Nasheed. I'm giving Tariq Nasheed a break here.
I'm not gonna worry about Tariq Nasheed. He hates the gays, don't you know? Tariq Nasheed.
Well, guess what? They probably hate him back with just as much force.
He hates the gays. That's the truth.
So he's a homophobic, black supremacist, former rapper. And speaking of Tariq Nasheed, I absolutely took the piss out of him in the upcoming Bogosity podcast episode coming this Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. A bunch of pieces of shit trying to make Rose McGowan get suspended from Twitter. Something about GG for some reason. I didn't really care about Rose McGowan. I left Rose McGowan alone a long time ago. I don't see why people get upset over the fact that because you know I personally don't have an issue with her speaking.
This is me about when you talk about Rose McGowan.
Yeah, you don't care. I get it.
But they're still going after Seth freaking Rogen.
Yeah, people are upset with Seth freaking Rogen because Seth Rogen kind of touched a 17-year-old girl.
And the entire Injustice crew is turning him into beef salad.
Oh, yeah.
And Lobo is about to do something pretty inventive with that. For it. Oh, and he's basically telling Seth Rogen to go up a chainsaw.
I'm gonna
He's
leave.
The main man, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a hand.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen.
Aren't you going to applaud?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm clapping right now because this is some funny ass shit right here. A Another scumbag caught in Hollywood. And also,
I'm glad Joker's back.
no one realizes, but Dan Harmon
Pop.
is an asshole.
And in other news, Harley still has a giant hammer.
Yeah.
Wait, are we talking about Hollywood horror stories or DC pop culture?
No. We're
And
talking
again,
about
what's the
horror.
difference?
It's horror stories right now. It's an American horror story because the topic is basically, yeah, there's a story in Hollywood that's happening and it's becoming a horror story for every Hollywood type who's bringing up stuff from the past. That's pretty much the topic.
Zod has this to say about Seth Rogen. He's sending him to the moon. And no, I am not a. And before you say anything, I am not a friggin' brony.
Are you're gonna? Why did someone accuse you of being a brony in the chat?
I'm playing it safe, JT.
Did they? Are you sure?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, good. Because
Friggin' ghost town in there.
Yeah, it's a ghost town. Not many people would watch that live stream because it's not really a very popular live stream.
Well, it should be. It's got me in it.
Yeah, it's just that it's not really that popular.
Oh, and before you say anything, yes, Lex Luthor just turned a satellite beam into a spirit bomb.
So
Don't ask. Don't ask, JT. Don't question it. Just take it in. Just take it in.
I understand.
It's magnificence.
I understand. It's okay. Don't worry.
Now then. Ooh. I heard a cat scratch fever, but that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
okay. Now, Deathstroke here has one of my favorites in the first game.
Yeah.
Just look at this pose. He's basically mentally telling Seth he is going to destroy him stylishly. How can any mere mortal survive all that?
I don't know.
Great. Now I'm the one questioning comic book video game logic.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell.
Oh well. So what other crazy horror stories have you come up with that we can use as fodder today?
Well, right now, Seth Rogen's situation is laughable right now because
And Scorpion is giving him a little taste of hell.
Yeah, I already talked about Steven Seagal's situation. I already read about that one.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Is Seagal still relevant?
Yeah.
Huh.
He
thought he died out after the 90s.
Yeah, he's still acting. He's still doing B movies.
Oh. Okay. Now old Frosty here is about to make sure Rogen doesn't let it go.
Yeah, Seth Rogen's been
And before you ask, yes, I've seen Frozen.
Let it go?
Yes, it was... It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad either.
Yeah.
Great, now I'm going to get flack from the Frozen fan base.
Nah, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
Okay, now we got Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I get it, man. Yeah. I know where you...
Wait, you got it?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, you're into the whole JoJo Adventure thing.
Oh my god, that wasn't the point of the reference!
I'm sorry, man.
JT, you are a total piece of work sometimes. You know that?
Yes.
Now we got Sinestro.
Yeah.
And his little Sanchez.
So he does the dirty Sanchez in the game?
You are very funny.
I'm sorry, I'm just asking you.
I was saying that as a bit of a jab against his mustache.
Oh, okay.
Now we got Black Adam. Not the one from Injustice 2. but the main Earth one.
The main Earth one, as in he can.
Yep.
He can run.
And then we got this guy.
Let's see.
Bane.
What's on the news right now? Okay, Clubhead
The man
has
who
sold
broke the bat.
over 1 million copies. So much for non-inclusive elitist gatekeeping. I kind of agree. I kind of agree. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much. Cuphead has sold over 1 million copies.
Well, I was thinking about getting it as a way to honor Mom because she's got a soft spot for those old 1930s cartoons.
Oh, really? What type of 1930 cartoons? Like Bosco?
Like, you know, those vintage ones with the jazz music?
Yeah. I can the show tunes.
Yeah, the show tunes.
Yeah, the Looney Tunes and such. Yeah, I used to like to watch them when I was a kid. I still do. I don't mind listening to jazzy tunes from them. Let's see, what else? Wonder Woman creator began fighting men's rights activists 90 years ago. Sci-fi. Nah. Not really a big anti-hate group. That is a hate group. PewDiePie. Okay, no. IGN acquires Humble.
Oh, look, both Marvel and Capcom characters are a little livid at our fedora-tipping friend Seth Rogen.
Oh, really? So apparently,
yeah.
So apparently, Humble Bundle is now owned by IGN.
They're screwed.
Yeah, I own
right.
the Storm an account with them, but now it's like I
Arthur. Know. Nobody wants to see your junk. Thank you, sir.
Did someone show you your junk?
I was talking to that knight who sounds like Byakuya from Bleach.
Ah, so someone showed you your junk.
He was wearing strawberry print underwear.
Ah.
You don't get out much, do you, JT?
No, I don't. Right now, I just went to the mall today. I actually had to go to an appointment today. And I went to the mall and actually picked up Gun Versus.
Next character.
Okay, let's see. South Park. Let's see. What else?
You know what? I can forgive you, Arthur.
What else is on the news?
So up next we got the OG of Marvel Comics protagonists, Captain America.
Yeah.
Who isn't voiced by Craig Smith this time, but rather Brian Bloom. JT.
Yes.
I'm trying to inform the masses, and you keep laughing like a freaking hyena.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to listen. Let's see here. Tokyo.
Okay.
Now inform the masses.
Now then, his level 3 initially is Final Justice, but here cab up his A game against Seth Rogen.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that looked like to hurt, eh, JT?
Mm-hmm. It probably would.
Oh man.
I really got to teach you how to use some technology.
Well, I'd rather we just let Miss Danvers here show Seth Rogen what happens when he crosses the boss of space.
The boss of space?
Well, that's what she said in her binary hyper combo.
Well,
okay, level 3 o'clock, baby.
All right.
Or never mind, just the aerial power blaster.
So you're playing while
I'm playing hyper combo videos while we're talking here.
Okay, so you can learn to master them.
No, just because I enjoy always Seth Rogen getting wrecked by various fictional characters. Seriously, that guy is an enormous, unfunny tool.
I kind of agree. But, you know, the problem with him, he's like Woody Allen in a way. He tries to be Woody Allen.
Oh, held up. Anyone order a Resident Evil character who sounds like KG in Samurai Warriors? No, seriously.
I don't know.
That version's KG, and this guy Chris are both voiced by Roger Craig Smith.
Yeah.
Yep. And all of these other people that we've seen so far use finesse. But old Chrissy boy here uses his weaponry, which includes this, the satellite laser.
The satellite laser?
Yes.
The satellite laser of love. No, I'm just joking.
Up next, we got the First Lady of Fighting Games,
The first
Chun-Li.
of fighting games, Chun-Li. Yeah, actually, she wasn't the first.
What?
She wasn't the first.
Wait, was Mai the first?
I think so. I don't know. Because,
Mai Shiranui. You know that buxom Konoichi chick?
yeah. Well, there's also King of the Fighters. There was several other indie games that came out. I kind of forgot about King of the Fighters.
Well, maybe I'll jog your memory with
There was
KOF
also-
14.
Let me see if I can remember, because I know that Sega released it was basically
Eternal Champions, I think its name was?
yeah, Eternal Champions. There was another one.
I was referring to the fact that... Oh, never mind.
There was also World Heroes.
Can we just see how great and stylish Dante is with taking down unfunny hacks like Seth Rogen?
'Cause this is thriller night, and no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. You know it's thriller.
Hey, what's your Seth Rogen doing now?
You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight.
To send Seth Rogen to the dark dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a brief aside, in my horror brawl thing, I would have Robert Englund voice him because he voiced him in Superhero Squad show.
Oh, really?
Does it sound like I'm joking to you?
You could.
Well, I'm not. He actually did that.
He actually did that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last night, there were some things that I got to bring up from the podcast thing.
Stream corruption?
Yeah, streamer corruption. You probably Courier 6 has been suspended.
Good. I was getting tired of that guy.
Yeah, because he kind of
He kind of triggered Lisa.
yeah, and it's no big deal. It's just, you know, I realized, yeah, he was a bit of a jerk when he said those comments.
But Groot and Rocket's target is still what was his name? Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen. You mentioned Terry Crews or something like that, I believe. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. But a garbage human like him has no right mentioning Terry Crews.
He might be.
Also, if you're getting some Dan Hibiki vibes from X, I don't blame you. Both are voiced by Ted Soroka. I probably butchered the pronunciation of his last name to hell and back, but what do I know, right?
Yeah. Well, there's been some crazy stuff, but yeah.
Not as crazy as what X is about to pull next.
Well, you never know, because there's some things that can happen. Like already, you know, in Hollywood, there's been some recent horror stories about sexual favors, corruption, lies, and it's becoming.
Oh, hey, Ryu.
It's becoming a big deal right now. And it's kind of sad because.
Hey, JT,
Yeah.
don't tell anyone, but I got a bit of a soft spot for the classics when it comes to my Seth Rogen wreckage.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What?
And you can't get any more classic than the Shinku Hadoken.
Yeah, I can understand.
Ugh, popcorn kernel stuck in my teeth.
Okay, so let me look at the Naughty Dog situation.
Now that's Shin Shoryuken? Now that's a classic.
Okay,
Can't be Ryu without that.
Okay, Lyft Driver asked, "What do I do?" Game Dev goes, "What's your favorite Archie?" Gonna test your game cred, bitch. I told you, I do this for a living. She's an
What?
artist. Ashley Sawarski kind of got upset with a Lyft driver.
Well, there's still actor Seth Rogen.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a character designer, from what I understand. Like, lead concept artist. I can understand for Naughty Dog. Important aspect with my life and time and money.
Oh, hey, Spider-Man.
Anyone can be an elitist asshole. Elitism is mixed in sex.
Well, you can you can help JT and I in dunking Seth Rogen Spider-Man.
He didn't do Spider-Man.
I was talking to the wall crawler, not to you.
Really?
Hey, this is a podcast hosted by a Spurg and a Casanova. What do you people want with me?
I'm not a Casanova. I'm a guy who just likes to do things on the internet for fun. It's not a big deal.
Well, hey, Nurgle calls you smooth and suave.
Yes,
Jesus
I'm smooth.
Christ.
Yes, because I make things sound convincing sometimes, but not all the time. That's the thing. I try my best.
Okay, moving on. Wait. Norman! Oh. What is it with Greenie and gate crashing other people's parties?
Really? Do tell.
I'm serious, man. Anyway.
Yes.
Now we got everyone's favorite badass scarf ninja, Strider Hiryu.
Yes.
Scarf.
He-Man.
For the last time, I am not Skeletor. I'm Johnny Peak.
That's why.
Moving on.
That's right. Remember, everyone has a scary story to tell, including Johnny P. How he ended up dead.
Or how he ended up the most angry human being in the history of the world by seeing Ghostbusters.
Really? Do tell about the storyline of Ghostbusters. What did you remember about Ghostbusters? Tell us your horror
How bad
story.
it was.
Yes. Do
Not
tell.
not the '84 classic.
Yes.
But rather,
the new version.
yes, the new version.
Yes, with the women in it. How did you feel about that movie?
I felt, as a male, as a straight, white, cis, heterosexual male, that I was insulted.
Really? How did it happen?
Yes. Oh, I don't know. The scripting.
Oh, really? What was the issue with the scripting?
It was so shoddily done that I just wanted to find out where Fig was at the time and punch him in the soul. But cut the Tom Hardy impression.
You mean his
and let's
hole?
move on. Soul, yes.
His
soul.
hole.
Soul.
Oh, his soul.
S-O-U-L.
Okay. Because I used to remember, you don't get that joke, didn't you? You gotta
No.
play the toll
And I don't
towards or
think
get into
Ultron
this boys'
got it
home
either.
to get him
But
in.
enough about genocidal machines. Let's move on to Maverick Hunter Zero.
Okay.
Who was a friggin' Power Ranger in some other life?
He was a Power Ranger in another life. Do tell.
Yes. Basically, way back during a time long forgotten called the Zordon arc, Johnny Bosch was a Power Ranger. Well,
Yes,
several,
I remember.
actually.
Actually, he wasn't the first. He was actually the second in line to be a Power Ranger because he was chosen.
Can you cut the posh British accent thing, please?
I'm trying to, impersonate somebody.
Okay, let's move on to the next horror story. You got any horror stories?
Yes, I probably do.
Do tell.
I went down to the movie theater and watched, let's see. Actually, I actually watched Netflix and watched that one really bad movie, which was Death Note.
Oh God, the movie version of Death Note.
Yes, it was very terrible. Very funny, but terrible.
Now, if Ghost Rider is done showing off, we got a lot of others like Hagar to go through.
Because the reason why that movie bombed was because it didn't have any Bashojin, what are you called? Bashonen boys. They want pretty boys in the storyline. But unfortunately, when you look at this whole storyline, you realize they basically didn't have any pretty boys in that show, in that movie at all. Basically,
okay, now we got what's Hawkeye doing here?
I don't know.
Wait, he's using his arrows to take down Rogan, isn't he?
I don't know particularly.
Well, that was a good show nonetheless.
Yes.
Up next is the not-so-jolly green giant, Hulk. And trust me when I say this, JT, you do not like him when he's angry.
Yes, I know. I'm very aware.
Especially if it's about really crummy Netflix movies.
Yeah, well, there's some good movies that I liked out of Netflix. The Diary of an International Assassin. That was actually a pretty good movie. Not the best, but okay. Now, let me see.
Well, that was a pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was actually.
Now up next is Megatron impersonator and ruler of Makai, Jeddah. The reason I say that is because he's voiced by David Kaye.
David Kaye?
Who voiced Megatron.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, David Kaye. He does the whole... Why are you trying to masturbate to me?
That was not even close to what David Kaye sounds like.
Yeah, because he actually did it with a deeper voice. Because he tries to do the whole... But it was very hard to do because it's very hard to master. Especially when you try...
Fair enough. Now we got Morrigan, who, yeah, the less said about her taste in clothing, the better.
Yes.
Tell that to Mr. Smooth and Suave over there.
Yes. Yep. Let's see.
Now up next is another Resident Evil mainstay, Nemesis.
Nemesis?
Yep.
So you're fighting against him?
No. Nemesis is dunking Seth Rogen with a giant rocket launcher, his own fists, and this thing. God Damn, that is ugly. And people call the Predator ugly? Predator. I'm the ugliest thing in the multiverse. Nemesis. Basically gutturally growls, "Hold my beer." GT?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
You really didn't get it. You really didn't get it, did you?
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to point out something.
All right, go ahead.
Because I don't know. It doesn't seem to fit well with the show.
Yeah. And it was the worst anime adaptation since Dragon Ball Evolution.
What?
Keep that in mind here.
What? Actually, Dragon Ball GT was kind of the
I was referring to the movie.
The movie? Which one?
Dragon Ball Evolution? The real life one?
Yeah, I kind of... I didn't watch that one, to be honest with you, because...
Good.
Because I just couldn't really get into it, because at the time I heard it was so bad that people just...
So that was Doctor Strange. Up next is the Firebrand.
Mm-hmm.
A.K.A. the biggest jerk in Goblins and Ghouls history.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, a lot of people fell to this guy in that one level. And you think I'm BSing you here, JT, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm not.
You're trying.
Holy Christ, Firebrand. That was a little much. Let's move on to the next game. Okay, now we got Frank West, who thankfully has his old personality from the Dead Rising games and not that back alley abortion Dead Rising 4. That's a real horror story right there. And I get crickets again.
Yeah, so apparently Jack caved in.
And again, what else is new?
Yeah, well, Jack Dorsey kind of is going to say this. Okay, we see voices being silenced on Twitter every day. We've been working to counteract that for the past 2 years. We prioritized this in 2016. We updated the policies. We increased the size of our terms. It wasn't enough.
Oh, by the way, JT?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that little thing I promised that you'll be reintroduced to KOF via the KOF 14 moves?
Mm-hmm.
You should know that I am a man of my word.
Okay.
So, yeah, here's all of them, including the DLC. So sit back, everyone, grab a bottle of popcorn, and let's bust that wolf our way past all these garbage humans.
I think people already watched those things. In 2017, we made
It's called a reference,
a lot of
JT.
progress. Now, Jack said here in the fourth one, today we saw voices silencing themselves and voices speaking out because we're still not doing enough. We've been working intensely over the past few months and focused today on making some critical decisions. We decided to make it more aggressive stance on our rules and how we enforce them. New rules around unwanted sexual advances, non-consensual nudity, hate symbols, violent groups, tweets that glorifies violence.
Jack, you have now officially become a cock.
No. He's just trying to stand... Okay, these changes...
He's trying to clear the air, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know that old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions?
Yeah. And right now, I don't really care what Jack does. Because Jack wants to do his own thing, let him do his own thing. Because here's the problem. You have people in Hollywood getting upset on social media on the fact that someone did a stupid thing on Twitter, which was put out a number, and then suddenly they get upset over this whole situation. Because they basically got suspended off of Twitter, and everyone's like saying, "Oh, you're silencing her. You're silencing her." No, they were basically trying to, you know, stop her from putting out a number and getting her in trouble. Which you shouldn't have, which Rose McGowan shouldn't have done, but then again, they're advocating all this stuff, which is stupid. I can understand the situation of silencing a woman, but that wasn't technically silencing her. They have done this in the past with other people, telling them to delete this or delete this stuff. And it's like, I don't get why you want to delete this content when this person was speaking either the truth or a reason. But when you try to put out a phone number or somebody's name or address, they have the right to, they reserve the right as a private company to delete that. But no, you want to insist on attacking Jack for this. For some stupid reason, he didn't mean for this to happen, but you instead insisted that they should do something about this. Then report the person on Twitter. That's all you have to do. It doesn't take you a while. You just have to do that. If a person says something that is like threatening you or something like that, yes. If a person's saying something that is hateful or something, you could block him. It's that simple. But no, you decided to, you know, get upset about this person using your time and effort to, you know, bullshit on Twitter. You can say whatever the hell you want, but when someone reacts to what you say or disagree with you, do you want to report that person for disagreeing with you? That's the question. Would you report the person for disagreeing with you on Twitter?
I'd rather keep my dignity, thank you.
Thank you.
Now then, the next dude that is going to go after Seth Rogen and all the other garbage SJWs we mentioned has my favorite design of any KOF character ever.
Yeah.
His name, Kukri.
Okay.
You know you're destined to be my favorite KOF character when you're named after a sacred Gurkha weapon.
Mm-hmm. So Durka Jihad.
Jesus Christ, JT, you're not getting anything today, are you?
Nope. Just trying to lighten the mood.
On a horror story?
Maybe.
Easier said than done, mon frere.
Okay. I'll tell you what. We're gonna do something here.
What's that?
We're gonna do something right here. Okay. You tell a story about how a Mortal Kombat character is gonna beat the shit out of Seth Rogen.
Are you saying that I get to sick every MK character from 1 to X on him?
Yes.
I like you, man.
Yes.
I like you.
Go ahead and tell the story of how Seth Rogen will get his ass kicked by Mortal Kombat characters.
And guest characters from other franchises, of course.
Yes.
Because we have to be inclusive of other franchises here.
Yes, we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Go ahead. Tell your story of how...
Ladies and gentlemen, and those who sexually identify as a pencil. For too long, Seth Rogen has become unfunny, starring in mediocre and lackluster films with F nukes aplenty. But never again. Here, on a first for the Open House podcast for the week of October the 13th, 2017. The best and brightest from one of the most controversial games in America, along with a few very special guests handpicked by our Lord and Savior, Ed Boon, has had one word for him. fatality. Ladies and gentlemen, the MK Gorathon has begun. I had to do it in my hammiest voice possible.
Okay.
So let's talk about stuff while they kick the snot out of destroy Rogan.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay?
Go ahead.
The first thing I want to talk about today is about those damn dirty 4K players. Apparently, they think that they are sexist for not including more female Marines.
Okay, so Seth Rogen was attacked by 40K Marines. What happens next?
No, not what I meant. Well, we are just milking the Seth Rogen cow to death today, aren't we?
Yeah, because it's funny.
I know it's funny. I'm just saying that these 40K people think that the feminists were attacking the 40K people.
Okay,
that's what I was trying to say.
You're saying that Seth Rogen was attacking the 40K people by delivering...
No, feminists were attacking the 40K people, not Seth Rogen.
Yes.
Seth Rogen has his own problems.
Here's my ultimatum.
Seth Rogen was masturbating.
What? Who's there?
Hey.
Show yourself.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Nurgle! What are you doing here?
Did you
Chaos.
Oh, guess what happened to Seth Rogen?
Did he get his penis caught in a fan? Because if he didn't get his penis caught in a fan, I really don't give a shit.
Actually, what happened, someone called him out for groping a 17-year-old girl.
Something that made Papa Johnny very unhappy.
Why am I not surprised that he did something like that? I mean,
And he got
who hasn't groped a 17-year-old these days?
Zeke Nurgle. Just, what are you doing in an open house podcast?
It's an
MK people kicking the snot out of an unfunny comedian?
it's open.
Nurgle here with us?
Yes.
What is wrong with today?
I don't know, man.
Anyway, Nurgle,
He's hyped
welcome
on the
back.
batteries,
Welcome.
man. He's hyped on the batteries.
Everyone, this is Lord Nurgle, Chaos God of Death and Disease,
Now
hubby
bow
of
down to
Isha,
him.
and all around freaking nerd.
Chaos.
Yes. Now bow down to
So,
him.
Nurgle, tell us a bit about yourself before we continue. Since this is your first time here.
What's there to say?
Tell the people what.
I'm Lord Nurgle. I'm the Chaos God of Death and Disease. My specialties are smallpox, bubonic plague, and I like long walks on the beach.
And playing video games like Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate, which I still need to get.
I masturbate, but you know, it is what it is these days.
Yeah.
True.
So
I just got done playing with the SNES Classic. I'll tell you, man, it's well worth the
money.
I think it's well worth the money if you got the money for it. It's not too bad.
That's not bad.
Hey, I got a soft spot for the classics, Nurgle. I got a soft spot for them classics, be it fatalities,
Hold on,
music,
Johnny,
and what
let
have
him
you.
speak. Let him speak.
I just played Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and I haven't played that game in over 10 fucking years. Holy shit, I am terrible at it. But I'm still pretty badass at Mega Man X1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can throw it down on Mega Man X1.
I actually played a few hours of Space Death Hulk. So far, you know, it's kind of
Space Death Hulk. What the fuck is Space Death Hulk?
actually Space Hulk Deathwing. Sorry.
Oh, I heard that was a pretty cool game, especially if you're into 40K.
Yeah,
I heard it was alright.
Speaking of 40K, we were just talking about the feminist stuff before you showed
and
up.
I can give you the lowdown on it. It's not about the fact that there's no female Space Marines. It's another stupid push to put feminism somewhere where it don't fucking belong.
Yeah.
Things. The reality is, well, I think it's funny, actually, and I'm going to enjoy watching this show, because this is like whenever the metalhead scene, they try to be like, metal is sexist, we got to stop the mosh pits and all that. It's like, yeah, go ahead and try.
All right,
you're not
get some water. You
here's
the talk about whatever, okay?
Well, hold on a second. And then there's another funny thing about the 40K bullshit. And that is the fact, and I mean the fact, that Games Workshop doesn't give a flying fuck as long as it makes money. And as soon as they put something out there that's not making money, that shit ain't going on anymore. Trust me. I ain't worried about any of this shit. It's over. is all over. Plain and simple. It's in.
All right.
Done.
You and JT can shoot the breeze, nerds.
Are you going?
Just going to get some water.
I just want to hear about that. Well, this is the thing. I heard JT was caught with a 17-year-old behind an Arby's.
Oh,
with a guy named
come on!
Ralph.
Don't go slandering my friend like that, Nurgle. Chill.
Behind an Arby's, no less.
Oh,
Wow,
With a guy named Ralph.
You are a total
guy named Ralph.
I don't know. So I think he got arrested a while back for punching a police officer or something like that.
Yeah, he did.
You know, I mean, it's pretty sad, man. I've got some pretty reliable sources to tell me that you were there with a 17-year-old behind an Arby's.
And his name was Ralph.
You filmed it all, from what I heard.
Oh, I filmed Ralph.
I heard you filmed it.
And
I can't even say this shit with a straight face.
you can't help but laugh at that.
And I'm back. Did I miss anything?
Yeah,
Behind an Arby's.
behind Arby's.
17 years old.
Oh, come on, nerd.
I actually, that joke's been done so many times. It's so funny. It's just.
It's funny no matter what, because it's funny when you bring it up around the times when nobody is expecting that shit.
Yeah,
They're like, wait, what?
I kind of made the joke.
Oh,
about,
Nurgle, I posted the question of the week a couple hours back, but what's your favorite horror movie kill?
My favorite oh man, now that's gonna be hard to come up with. Holy shit, there's so many great kills. So many great scenes in horror, man. Fuck.
Oh, and MK2
so
marks the
hard.
debut of your waifu, Melina.
Yeah,
Little,
MK2 was the debut of my waifu Melina. I love the Melina.
Don't tell
You
Alicia
know
you
what's
said
funny? I
that.
really didn't main her back in MK2. I mained Scorpion. I didn't start maining Melina, actually. She was always one of my favorite characters, but I didn't start maining her until MK9. That's when I really connected with that character. But I always loved this character.
I thought it was because of what she wore in that game. It didn't.
Well, no, I always loved the character Melina in the previous games. But my favorite was the my favorite costume of hers at all time is going to be her classic costume. It'll always be my favorite.
Good to know I'm not the only one with a soft spot for them classics.
Well, the classic costumes were the best of the series. I mean, it doesn't get no better than like the old school Reptile and Sub-Zero costumes. I loved the original Raiden look, and they never really strayed far away from the original Raiden look. Although I'm not too fond of the Injustice look for them.
I, for one, kind of like the comic book style they went with it. I especially dug Scorpion's costume in that first Injustice.
Well, Scorpion's was fine, but Sub-Zero's, I just wasn't digging it just looks off with the cape to me. Raiden can get away with it, but I don't like the whole, I must have my chest exposed. Like, look, man, we get you.
But
You
it's
got
got
abs for
help. But it's
days,
going
but
to
we
have
don't need to
Hellboy,
see that
so
shit. Alright?
in Hellboy's words, this just got a whole lot more interesting.
This guy.
You know what's funny?
More interesting.
Go ahead, Nurgle.
Why did they go with Hellboy? Why did they give him a cigarette? He's supposed to be smoking a cigar.
That's
Reasons.
I've heard some people say that. Well, no, that's kind of like a weird hint that they're gonna throw Constantine in because Constantine is synonymous with smoking cigarettes. I'm like, yeah, but it just don't seem right. And what the fuck is Constantine gonna do? Constantine don't do shit. I say that.
He has all those magic hexes and stuff.
Ooh, I've got hexes. We don't need another motherfucking trap character, goddammit. We got enough of that, motherfuckers. We need some more rushdown characters and some anti-zoners.
He is considered a trap character because he actually.
So he's gay.
No,
Well, no, he's not.
Come on,
trap.
JT, you set me up for that one.
He was more.
Admit it, you set me up.
Yeah, I set you up
No,
on certain things.
I'm just saying, I don't think that he would. I don't want to see another trap character. Like what the Predator Hunter variation was in MKX. I don't want to see more characters like that because I think there's enough of them already. And I do believe they need more rushdown folks, less zoners. Because right now we got way too many zoners in Injustice 2. And I'm already expecting that I already expect that Hellboy is going to be like a weird combination between a grappler and a fucking
Zoner.
and a zoner almost. I'm expecting him to be more of a zoner. I was expecting Raiden to zone more, but my buddy's been having a lot of luck with him and doing a lot of crazy shit, and he's doing some cool shit with him. He's great.
To be fair, and did you see Raiden's super move?
I love his super move. I even thought it was cool that they changed it up for Black Lightning.
Oh really? They brought in Black Lightning?
You mean Gucci Mane?
Yeah, well, there's a premiere costume for Black Lightning. So for all the folks that don't want to play as Raiden and want to use a Lightning character, they made Black Lightning, and he looks pretty cool. But they gave him some weird dialogue. I don't know if they're like mocking certain people or if they're like into stuff like okay. There's like some of the characters' dialogues will come in where like Power Girl will fly in. He'll be like, "So you're a fellow social justice warrior." And she says, "What's it to you?" And he goes, "Well, that's an alternative fact."
100. Actually, it goes a little something like this. So you're a fellow social justice warrior. 100%. Go ahead. Teach me.
See, I don't understand where they're coming at with that, and I don't know why.
I think they were trying to take a...
I think they're taking the piss out of those folks. I'm not sure.
Well, if they are,
weird.
I say keep going with it.
I just thought it was a little weird when I saw it. I was like,
Arrow and Green Lantern in one intro where he calls Ollie a billionaire social justice warrior.
Which, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they were taking the piss out of those folks, because that just seems like something NetherRealm Studios would do. I mean, but then again, when they made MKX, that's one of the things they addressed. That was a thing that was brought up a lot of the times was, well, how are you going to address the female characters in this game? Because a lot of people felt that their costumes were really out of whack in the last one. Over-sexualized. Or just really impractical. And I'll be honest with you, I get it. I totally agree. The costumes in MK9 were really, really impractical. Even though Melina was my favorite costume out of the group, I thought she had the coolest looking costumes, because especially she had her default, and then she had her alternate, not the bandage one, which I honestly never used it. I thought it was silly. But she had that alt that was the...
MK Deception one?
Yeah, and that was like the coolest one. And that was the one I was hoping they would have rolled with in MKX. I wish they would have brought that one over, because that was my favorite costume and look for her, when they kind of made her this sort of Arabic princess-looking chick, you know? I thought it looked really badass with her.
Oh, brief aside, little fun fact about Kung Lao here. His hat was actually based off of Odd Jobs in Goldfinger.
Oh, yeah, that's where they came up with the idea of the character, was they wanted to make Odd Job. If you excuse me 1 second, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right, nerds.
Yeah, because, let's see. I do recall that they tried to do this with several other characters.
I hate how they made Sonya Blade a friggin' jerk in X.
Well, they had to, because she was always a jerk.
Okay, I'm back. Well, with MK, you know, there's rumors already floating around now of MK11 coming out, right?
Mm-hmm. And there are also rumors about Pennywise being a guest character in that game.
Oh God, that would be ridiculous.
As in Pennywise the Dancing Clown?
Please,
Eater of Worlds and Children?
No, please. I don't want... that's something that's really getting on my nerves. Let me just go ahead and say it, okay?
Go ahead.
MKX was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie. When they revealed that the Predator and Jason Voorhees were guest characters, I was like, okay, Jason, I expected, because they had Freddy in the last game. I'm kind of upset that they didn't put Freddy in this game.
They did it in the mobile game.
Well, I was like, you know what? You kind of needed Freddy there. It would have been really cool. That's what everybody wanted initially was, okay, you got Freddy. Can we get Jason so we can have Freddy versus Jason? Which was cool. But anyway, I expected Jason. Let's go for it. And it blew my fucking head apart when they threw the Predator in there. And I love the Predator, and he's a fucking fun-ass character to use. And I
And
was
then
like, this
the
is
alien
great. This,
and Leatherface happened.
hold on.
right?
I was like, this is a great fucking fighter pack, you know? I mean, you got two really cool, awesome guest characters, one of which no one expected. And then you have Tanya, and who was the other?
Tremor.
Tremor. Tremor was another great fucking special, surprise to throw in there. And he wound up being a cool addition.
With the vocal cords of Fred Tatascari providing one of the deepest voices in the entire franchise.
Well, I mean, and like I said, he was a great character, and I really enjoyed playing him too. Because even I may not be an expert at the game, but I still, and maybe mainly a Molina main, but I loved playing all the different characters in the game because they're all just fun characters. And Trimmer was really fun to play with.
I think.
But then that
found
next
your niche
fighter,
right there. I think I found his niche.
What?
You guys like to talk about fighting games. That's the thing. You guys should do a podcast together about fighting games. Seriously.
well, then there was that other. Then there was the fighter pack too.
Yeah.
You had
And-
Triborg.
Well, Triborg was great, and initially they basically added 4 new characters in that one fighter pack because you had the Cyrex, Cyrex, Smoke, Cyber Sub, and Sector, and those were great. They did a really good design putting them in there. They did a great job balancing those out. I did enjoy those characters. I think they're fun to use.
Not to mention Death Machine.
Yeah,
Enough.
such a weird,
Enough said.
or such a weird fatality. But then you had what's his
Boraicho.
name? Boraicho. And I was a little perturbed to have Boraicho. Because I was like, okay, you look at the roster of characters in MK, and there were so many great characters that never even really graced the scene. Like, you had Serena, you had fucking characters like maybe Dairu and Darius. You had fucking
Taven.
cool characters like not Taven. I think Dagon and Taven are going to come in the next one.
No.
But then you had characters like fucking.
I'm asking you not to drink so much sugar drinks and so much pop. You know that can lead to diabetes, all that sugar. And
Actually,
diabetes would mean
no.
insulin shots. You'd have to give yourself a shot with a needle. Are you
no,
hang on,
that is a myth. It is not true. No.
Sorry, Nergs. Mom's here.
You put your mom on here right now because I am a type 1 adult onset diabetic.
Oh,
I
Nergal just
know
got triggered by your
truthfully.
mom.
I know the truth. Drinking too much pop will not give you diabetes. You could sit down right now and eat 12 pounds of sugar and you will not pop as a diabetic because your body actually is built to control your blood sugar levels. A diabetic, to become a type 2 diabetic, you have to have weight issues and things of that nature. Sometimes you have type 2 diabetes if you are skinny. It depends on, a lot of times, oddly enough, it depends on your ethnicity. But
you can
type
go
1
nuclear,
diabetics.
chum. I'm going to go close the door so an incident like that never happens again.
I'm sorry, but I don't like it when I hear myths like this come out. I asked a lot of I did a lot of research in diabetes when I was diagnosed, and that is something that just really upset me when I hear people say, "Oh no, if I eat too much candy, you're gonna get diabetes." I'm like, "No, you won't."
Yeah.
Now, should you drink a lot of pop?
Because he said the human body is built to control its own blood sugar.
It's built that way, but the only reason that it's going to affect you is if you have issues like if your body is insulin resistant, which means your body just can't, the insulin comes out and your body doesn't know how to use it. Or if you have too much mass or too much weight to where your body can't create enough insulin to keep your blood sugar regulated. So that's when you have type 2 diabetes. That's where it's monitored with diet, exercise, and things like that. Now, drinking too much soda, is it bad for you? Absolutely. Let me tell you something, guys. Soda, especially diet soda, is fucking horrendous for your body. It is ridiculously bad.
Yeah.
But if you sat here and chugged out a 12-pack of soda every day, you're going to gain weight, of course, which will lead to diabetes eventually, but it's not going to be what causes you to become a diabetic. And the other thing to say about the soda issue is that's what's really troubling is that will lead to what we call kidney stones, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
And those aren't fun to pass. Trust me. Those are not fun to pass. But you know what? I don't want to go into this. It's just, Johnny, you can tell your mama you got a good friend that's a type 1 diabetic, and I'll school her. I'll educate her if she ever wants to know anything about diabetes, because I know a lot.
All right. And I'll also tell her you said hi.
Yeah, you can tell I said hi. And that you do need to lay off the sodas. You shouldn't be drinking sodas at fucking midnight, man. Come
Look,
on,
my
man. That's
dude.
bad for you.
Look, my dude. I'm trying my best to shut off the fat because reasons. But
I'm just being honest with you.
I know you're being honest with me, but I had a very, very crazy day. I mean, Benihana's was full, the basement flooded.
That's why you masturbate. It's great.
Lord
Everyone
ladies and gentlemen.
ejaculate.
This is your Chaos God of Death and Disease, ladies and gentlemen. And you're coming through great, by the way.
Masturbate. Everyone ejaculate.
So wait, we got MK characters knocking the snot out of an unfunny comedian, and Nurgle is talking about masturbation. Open House Podcast, where anything can happen, ladies and gentlemen.
Back at what I was saying.
We're like the WWF of we're like the WWE of podcasts. Anything can happen here.
Back to my subject that I was talking about with MKX and the second fighter
Okay,
pack.
go ahead. I think we were on Leatherface.
Well, no, we weren't, but we were on the fighter pack too. And you know, you had Bo Raicho, and like I said, there's so many of these great characters from the MK universe that would have been so great instead of Bo Raicho. Bo Raicho was good, he worked, but I mean, when you look at it, it's like, come on. Triborg was a returning character. It's great.
You're right. And
but we could have had some greats like I said, Serena. We had other ones like even Lee May. Lee May was a fan favorite, you know?
Not to mention she was hot in Deception.
Well, I mean, it wasn't just that. It was just she was a great character too. And then you even had Rain. Like, a lot of people were very upset that Rain wasn't in it. Hell, you could have thrown Jade as a returning character in it.
I do.
You know, there were so many great characters in the MK universe that did not make the cut. Personally, the one that I'm upset that they didn't put in MKX, and I'm going, well, why did you release her in the last one, is Scarlet. Brand new fucking character. Nobody knows shit about her, and they don't put her in the in MKX.
Well, they did have her in the comic.
I don't care. Why was she not in the game? It's
That's
so ridiculous.
What I was asking mentally, because Scarlet from MK9 was pretty much my MK waifu.
Well, Scarlet was a great character.
And I get
was,
that.
And she
whole
was so cool and fun to
thing was
use.
Pretty inventive, if you ask me.
You know, I liked that character a lot, and I just never understood why she didn't make the cut. And I was like, and I understand that, okay, we weren't going to sell DLC that we sold in the last game again. I gotcha. But it was so upsetting to see that they decided to take this great character and not put her in the next one.
Yeah. And then we got Mr. Sawyer.
Well, you can always demand the fan favorite back if they're going to make another sequel.
Well, they might bring Scarlet back in the next one, and I hope they do. As a matter of fact, I hear rumors and rumblings that they might even be bringing what's his name back, Shao Kahn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was in the mobile game, so we're ever hopeful.
Yeah, I heard he's going to be coming back. Now, when we talk about the other characters, let's discuss this. These other two guest characters, because they have gotten so out of hand with these guest characters. Okay, so we have Leatherface.
Mr. Sawyer.
And don't get me wrong. I didn't think that Leatherface was a bad addition to the game. I never thought he was a bad addition. I thought when I first saw Leatherface, I was like, oh, come on, man, another guest character? And then I sat and I thought about it, and I was like, wait a minute. I don't think I've ever really seen a character like Leatherface in a fighting game. You know, he's got this giant chainsaw. He's this brutal-ass character. He's a great character. And I kept thinking about it, and I was like, that's not a bad idea. I like it.
It also helps his case that he was based off of a real-life body snatcher.
Well, I mean, I liked the idea of him being in the game. I liked the idea of his character development. You know, I liked his mechanics. But I kept thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, so this is an interesting one. He's unique. And then we had the alien thrown in there. And I thought the alien was cool, except for the fact that there was a lot of similarities with the alien and Baraka. And all I could think was, at last minute, they decided, let's change it to the alien, even though it was going to be Baraka initially. And I kept thinking to myself, why didn't we just get Baraka? Why didn't we get more MK characters? I mean, look, I kind of wanted some Mortal Kombat in my Mortal Kombat. I'm just saying.
It could work.
I, for one, think the Xenomorph with that Conjurer and Acidic variation is a welcome group, but with the Tarkatan variation, I kind of see your point, Miracle.
Exactly. And when the Tarkatan variation was fun. That's my favorite one to use out of the group. But
especially
I just look at it, though, and I think
attack.
Well, I just look at it and I think, okay, you know, I think it's great that you got these characters, and hey, it was a real treat. It was a great surprise to see the Predator pop in there. And I was like, it was kind of cool to even see, you know, the Xenomorph and see Leatherface pop up. But at the same time, it was like, but what about all these great characters that these like fan favorites that fans really wanted, like Havoc? There was a lot of people that really wanted Havoc.
Yeah.
Or even Noob Sabat to return.
Noob Sabat.
You know? And you look at these characters that didn't make the cut, and you just think, which ones were shelved so that we could have these guest characters? And I feel that they're getting overboard with these characters, because now looking at Injustice 2, sure, we got some good DLC here. We got Starfire. That's a great character.
Who is voiced by her DC Animated Cinematic Universe voice actress, Kari Walgren.
And I was very fond of them putting Red Hood in. I was like, hey, I'm not personally a big fan of Red Hood, but I was like, okay, I can deal with Red Hood. This is cool. And, you know, Sub-Zero was like, all right, so it makes sense to bring one Mortal Kombat character over. And
then we got Black Manta.
Now I got Fighter Pack 2 coming out with Black Manta, which personally I don't like his design much, but he works, right? He's a good character. Black Manta's a great DC villain. Have Hellboy and Raiden. And I'm looking at it going, okay, Hellboy, a pleasant surprise, because he is a comic book character and through, and he's a great character. I mean, think about it. A lot of people love Hellboy. But, for one, everybody was expecting Spawn. I was like, well, why didn't you go with Spawn? And what the fuck is the deal with Raiden? Why are we getting Raiden? Why are we not getting more DC characters out of all of them? I mean, come on. Look at the DC universe. Look at the characters that didn't get thrown in there. You know, you got some of the greatest fucking characters.
Fighter Pack 3.
Well, and I'll talk about the Atom in a minute. But look at these. Look at the DC universe and just think about all the characters that are just amazing characters that would have worked so well in there. I mean, you have such great designed characters like Katana. Katana is a really cool character.
And a real sight for sore eyes.
Well, that's true. But, I mean, she's a great fucking character. She would have worked really well. Talia al Ghul. Maybe even Ra's al Ghul would have been amazing, you know?
Hey, why would we have that spoiled brat's mob go after Brainiac?
Let's see. What is some other good ones? Not Blackfire, because we already have the costume for Blackfire.
Yeah, we already have the gear to make Blackfire.
But there's some other, like, really big fan favorites of mine from the DC universe that I look at and I go, we could have really used these characters. These characters could have been really fun to see in the DC, in an Injustice fighting game. And I love NRS because they're able to, they tend to take characters that you look at and go, these would never work in a fighting game.
See also Dr. Kruger. I mean Scarecrow.
Well, yeah, Scarecrow is one of those ones that you look at and you go, this character probably would have never worked in this series.
But leave it to NRS and their horror movie loving leader to blow
they
made it minds.
Well, they made it function very well, and they did it with a lot of the different characters that were in Injustice. I mean, come on, Zatanna. That was, to me, one of the biggest surprises I saw in Injustice 1 was Zatanna, because it was like, Zatanna is not one that I would expect it to be a fighting game character, and she wound up being one of the best characters in the game.
And one of the hottest magicians in gaming, period.
And then like Batgirl, like everybody's like, oh, it's just gonna be Batman. I was like, and it wound up being better than that. It wound up actually being a different variant of Batman. You know, it wasn't straight up Batman. But the other ones though, it's just there's so many great characters, and they were shelved for Raiden. Look, this is a fighter pack that people pre-order.
What's so funny, JT?
Yeah,
He's cracking a soda.
No, it's because the fact that they always they brought in Raiden, which he was a popular character.
And that's the other thing. Raiden is a popular character. But here's my question.
What's up?
Isn't there other MK characters that are far more popular than Raiden?
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to say... Don't say Johnny Cage and Liu Kang, because...
I wasn't going to say those two.
That would be the equivalent of throwing vanilla into the game. I mean, literally.
I used to remember in MK2, the most popular character that came out was Reptile. Everyone wanted
Yeah, what about Reptile?
Yeah.
What about him? He would have been a great... He probably would have been a more welcomed favorite into the series.
Especially if he were voiced by Steve Blum, who voiced him in MKX.
It doesn't matter who voiced him. It's just... I guarantee you, he would have been a welcomed character, you know, over Raiden. I guarantee you, Melina or Katana would have been welcomed because they're fan favorites. Maybe even Cyrax or Sector.
Yep.
But it's like, you chose Raiden. It's almost like they went the safest route possible with Raiden and Sub-Zero.
Mm.
If you're going to give us an MK character, give us one of the MK characters that people truly love. Raiden is cool. Fits. I mean, it's like, yeah, we already had enough electricity, guys. We got enough ice, guys. I mean,
we already have, like, Captain Cold and Mr. Freeze. And we also have, like, Black Adam and Black Lightning in the party.
Yep.
Already had Black Adam. You know, that was another one. Another one that people were really begging to have thrown into Injustice was Static Shock. Why was Static Shock never put into the game?
I do agree, because he was introduced back in the early 90s.
Or what about Aqualad?
Would be nice.
Everybody laughs, but Aqualad's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm laughing. I was just confused by your decision.
The current one from Justice.
From Young Justice?
Yeah. What I'm talking about.
I do agree.
You know, the son of Black Manta.
He was the son of Black Manta.
Yeah, he's the son of Black Manta. And that's another one that would have been great. You know what? Give us a premiere skin of Aqualad for Black Manta. That would have been fine. It's just I look at the Fighter Pack 2 with Raiden and Hellboy, and I'm fine with Hellboy because he's a good surprise. But with Raiden, it's like all I can think is there's so many great DC characters. You passed them all up for what?
Magic Mike, who sounds like that giant fat dude from Dynasty Warriors.
Like you could have picked a better character, in my opinion. It's just there were just better characters and they could have been chosen over Raiden. And if it had to be an MK character, then it could have been a better MK character than Raiden. To me, Raiden was just like vanilla, plain Jane type of character. This just like if they would have picked Liu Kang or Johnny Cage. I never understood why some people were asking for Johnny Cage because I was like, why would you want Johnny Cage? It's a boring character. I mean, yeah, his wisecracks are cool. He's a fun character in MK.
And he was voiced by a former Dokken member in MK9.
But yeah, but it's like, why would you throw him into it? I don't know. I think I mean, I like some of these guest characters because they've done a good job with them and how they work in the game. It's just I feel that it really is time to chill on the guest characters because I think the guest characters are getting out of hand. And I'm already hearing rumors that, you know, we're going to get at least one more in the next fighter pack. So that's another DC character we're not getting. So we already know that we got the Atom coming. And then we know now that there's 2 more characters. And if one of those is a DC character, then, well, we're not going to get we're not going to get but maybe one more DC character, and as far as I can tell is it's going to be someone like Enchantress, because there was because they have another female on the way, and the silhouette looks more like Enchantress. And if that's the case, it's going to be a zoner trap character or something like that.
I'm guessing.
We had characters like Deadshot, and that's why we got characters like well, Harley Quinn was a given, but that's why we had Deadshot. It's because of the Suicide Squad. You know, they're fan favorites of the Suicide Squad, and the Suicide Squad movie was big at the time. And now everybody's angry at the fact that Deadshot's in the goddamn game because, well, nobody knows how to deal with him except for players that actually know how to fight him.
Yep.
Yeah, I personally don't mind Deadshot. I just don't like how Grodd has him on a friggin' leash with that nano explosive.
Well, I don't care about fucking Grodd. And that's another character that I thought was a good addition to the game, was Grodd.
Not to mention, Charlie Halford did a bang-up job with Grodd.
Here's some
well,
news.
I mean,
Here's some weird news. Players Underground game smashed 2 million copies. It just sold 2 million copies.
Damn.
Yeah. And MK4 marks the debut of my first hateable character, Quan Chi.
Also,
Quan
IGN
Chi's.
Also, Humble Bundle's owned by by IGN now.
Oh God, why?
It's the business world, Nurgle. It's buy or be buyed.
You know, speaking of which, I want to talk about this, and I noticed something. EA is especially doing this. And this is another reason why I'm never going to buy Battlefront 2 or any other EA title ever again. If you watch the recent advertisement with John Boyega,
really,
for Star Wars Battlefront 2, have you watched it yet?
No, I have not.
In that ad, he does not call people as gamers. You know what he calls them?
Players.
Players. You remember that back in the day when they were talking about we need to get rid of the word gamer?
Yeah.
And you replace it with players?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm never buying another title from EA again because of that.
Because
and it sounds petty, but I'm not putting up with that.
I understand.
You're trying to erase an entire identity, something that the large mass of the gaming community identifies with. We are gamers. We are not fucking players. That is the biggest and dumbest shit I ever fucking heard. We are fucking gamers, goddammit.
Duncan Mender that, brother!
Don't call me a fucking player. I don't play no fucking football.
I didn't say
I'm a
player, I
fucking
said
gamer,
brother.
goddammit.
Jesus Christ, Nurgle. I was agreeing with you, man.
I know, I'm just saying, I ain't no motherfucking player. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, no, oh, hell nah. Oh, hell nah. Y'all motherfuckers is out of y'all's mind. Y'all gotta stop that shit. Fuck you fools.
Okay, so here's something I found out. It turns out Disney CEO made a decision to. They actually did a vote to kill off Han Solo. It turns out.
I thought that maybe Harrison Ford just came in and said, "Can we kill the fucking character off already?" I really don't feel like being this guy.
I thought it was, but it turns out the DZ Bob Iger was involved with the decision.
So Bob Iger pretty much killed off my mom's favorite character?
Yeah, Han Solo.
That son of a...
Yeah, but you know what, though? As much as I hate The Force Awakens, that's probably the best part of the movie. Is, you know, is the fact that, you know, Han Solo is completely betrayed by his own son. And that's probably the best part of the story. The rest of it's a bunch of garbage.
A bunch of,
let's see,
virtue signaling garbage.
Yeah, here's the thing. Killing off Han Solo was a bold move. And this was according to Movie Plot. And one of the potential to take the franchise into an interesting direction of the story and characters. We have yet to see a repercussion of a long-term impact of Han Solo's death will have the number of characters. Well, What? They should have just killed off Princess Leia anyway.
Oh, Mark Wade. Oh.
He is the gift
Back
that
in
keeps on
2015,
giving.
this motherfucker said, I have no interest in ever being a guest at a convention that would sell booth space to Gamergate. Any pros with me on this? Gamergate is the 21st century KKK, if I have
Can
to
you just
explain
say
it.
your famous outro catchphrase to Mark Wade, please? He really
No.
needs to hear it.
But you know what, Mark Wade? This is why this is why the comics industry is dying, is because of shitheads like you.
Now then, Nurgle, if you would kindly tell him to...
Fuck off, and thanks for all the fish.
Thank you, good sir. We needed that in our lives. Ain't that right, JT?
Anyway, I mean, I don't know.
You can't see this, but
Maybe
I have
it's
the
time
biggest
to look
grin
at
on
more
my
porn.
face right now.
Maybe it's time that I look at more porn. That's what I need to do with my time. Oh, I remember this. I saw this tweet. Remember this? The set of the Will Wheaton show that he used to do. Remember that?
Will
The
who?
board game show. And then when it was revealed, like, people started looking around, they found out that, holy shit, right before they filmed that set, they were filming that shit, it was the set of a porno.
This is me in a nutshell.
Look, let me just say it, okay? All right.
Dude.
Let me see here. Where was I? There it is.
Let's put it this way.
On this very night, 10 years ago, on the same stretch of road, and the dense fog, just like this, I saw the worst accident I ever seen. There was this sound like a garbage truck dropped off the Empire State Building. And when they finally pulled the driver's body from the twisted, burning wreck, it looked like this. It doesn't work when I can't show the picture.
I'm
but...
sorry, I have
Look.
it turned off.
Look, just tell them Large Marge sent you, okay?
Yeah, yeah. The whole situation with memes and shit, like Mark Wade,
Can the left meme?
the left can't even try. They've been trying
They can certainly try.
Well, it's just right now people are playing the blame game situation, and it's like
And it also happened during the Las Vegas debacle.
Yeah, and it's disaster after disaster after disaster. It became a worse situation, man. It's like nothing can be like already. People are kind of pissed off right now.
Well, you know, it's this so-called culture war shit. I mean, I'm just sick and tired of it. I'm like, it's really just time to end that crap. I mean, come on, man. This has been going on way too long. The stupidity that's going on with it is just gotten more and more stupid as time has gone by.
Yeah.
Also, a bit of an aside, I really don't like Baraka's look in MK Gold. Those staples they just don't do it for me.
Look, MK Gold just looked... It was an old game, and it still looked pretty bad back then.
Yeah, it didn't. I like to think of the fatalities as like a fine wine.
Well, it's like the early years of the 3D side of MK. You know, MK4 still followed the 2D fighting mechanics, but had the 3D graphics. It's when they went outside and they actually went full 3D is when the game series was not very good. The only good one I think of the 3D versions was I think the only good one I ever saw was Deception. I think Deception was the best one of the 3D
That's because it had friggin' Onaga. And you know...
Well, it wasn't Onaga. It was just a better fighting game, you know? They actually did a good job with the mechanics. And they had the three fighting styles. Armageddon would have been one of the best 3D fighters out there for Mortal Kombat.
If it weren't for creative fatality.
Creative, see though, the problem is creative fatality. The reason why it existed was it wasn't really in existence just because they wanted to do a it wasn't there for the fact that they wanted to give something creative to the fans, because they threw in the creative fighter and everything like that, which was fine. The reason why creative fatality was there was because they didn't have the memory on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox One disc to fit all of those fighters and all those original fatalities into it. They couldn't do it. The PlayStation, this was, remember, Armageddon came about at the very end of the PlayStation 2 era, or at the very end of that generation. That was like right before PS3 and 360 was about to come out. And those games, that system was taxed to the beyond its limits with that game because they just couldn't fit all of it. That's why you had so many characters that were kind of like carbon copies of each other that were very similar to each other. But you had a lot of those. And honestly, what I always thought was, if they had released that game as an early PlayStation 3 title, it would probably have been one of the best fighters of the 3D genre when it came to Mortal Kombat. Because they wouldn't have had to sacrifice, because the installation ability, they wouldn't have had to sacrifice the ability to have all the 3 fighting styles. That's why you only had 2 fighting styles. If you notice, all they did with every character was knock off their first fighting style, so they replaced it with just the last 2. That's why Melina was so shit in the game. You didn't have her main fighting style that really worked her. You were stuck with her secondary.
Your own waifu?
Well, no, she wasn't a good character in the game because of that.
Oh.
You couldn't play it because her fighting style was, her secondary fighting style was not a good fighting style. The only reason her secondary fighting style, in my opinion, existed in that game was the fact that it was a branching fighting style to get into using her size. Because what you wanted to do was you wanted to start with her first fighting style and link it all the way into the size.
I'm gonna look up her fighting styles in MK.
It was like Yi Yang. I can't remember the second one, and then there was the size. But
okay, the size I understand it because it couldn't be Melina without this freaking size.
Yeah, the size is Melina's thing.
Yep. All right. She also used her fighting styles are Yin Yang and Mian Chan.
Yeah, Yin Yang.
Probably butchered those names, but you know what?
Well, Yin Yang was like the one fighting style that Yin Yang was the fighting style that made her character work in the game. And when they went in there and removed that fighting style from her and they just left the last 2, it was like, it just didn't work at all. It was just bad. And that's part of what really ruined the game was the lack of the third fighting style. And they couldn't, like, it was supposed to be like MK Trilogy, but with the 3D universe. And I thought it was great. And it had a good, fun little, like, story mode to it and everything.
Well,
but it would have been a better game had they released it early PlayStation 3 instead of PlayStation 2.
Already,
that's just how I feel about it.
Already, Comicsgate just hit the hashtag.
Did it? Is it trending?
Not as
I'll
much.
check Twitter.
Not as much.
No, it's not trending. It's just, but I know the tag exists. It's just I don't see people use it much.
Well, Daddy Warpig's been using it.
I mean,
and I'm surprised that Nick Spencer left Twitter. He said, "I'm out Twitter." Pretty much clear that at this point you're more a part of the problem than the solution.
Well, and that's the thing, though. That's actually a good thing because what's going to happen is they're going to double down.
Yo, JT.
They already doubled down.
Oh God. Well, they're going to be doubling down more, and part of that doubling down is to walking away from Twitter and getting away. So when they walk away from it, they're going to kind of lock themselves more in an echo chamber. But this is the thing, and this is what I was talking to. I was talking to the comic shop owner I go to every other couple weeks. Every couple of weeks, I go down to a local shop down here, and I go to pick up my Dice Masters stuff, because I always go and I buy like 30 something fucking booster packs for Dice Masters. And I was talking to him about it. I said, "Hey, you heard about New York Comic Con, right?" And he's like, "No, what happened?" I said, "Well, I guess Marvel's doing a closed door panel, and some of the retailers were there, and they opened up and were like, yo, what the fuck, you know, because of, he said, let me guess, they're pissed off. They want to know what the fuck is up with Marvel, because they're not selling shit, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's what happened. And we talked a little bit about it for a few minutes. And one of the things he mentioned is, and he said it, he's like, well, you know, Disney doesn't give a shit about Marvel Comics. They don't care about the comic books. They don't even care about
they treat them as
publishing
more of a piggy bank than a property.
They don't even do that. I mean, it's there, and it's not going to make money.
But like I said in my Stream of Corruption debut, I am the last guy you want to go to for a business degree.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and you have that, but here's the other thing, though, about it. And we were talking about it, and I said, you know, I was like, I bet you the only time when Marvel Comics is ever going to buckle down and get their shit together,
Yeah.
I feel is going to be it's got to be whenever Marvel Studios finally starts to lose money. When it's not making such large amounts of money that it's making right now on its movies is when Marvel's going to finally start, you know, buckling down, and you know that's when it's going to happen, because the thing is when one of those starts failing, that's when that's when questions are going to start getting asked. They're going to want to know, what the fuck, man, you know?
Yeah, because they're
and that's just how I see it.
They're basically accusing people of weird shit, and it's like, I don't think anyone understands what people are trying to do. Like, they're just trying to point out that these these stories are just absolute trash, and yet you're arguing about the fact that
Secret Empires.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just that. The thing is they don't like the fact that they're being told that the stories are trash and that they're not selling. And, you know, Marvel is focused heavily more on agenda pushing and focus more heavily on the political side of things, which is fine.
Actually,
the problem is if that's what
hiring, you know, diverse people.
Well, that's the thing. If that's what Marvel wants to do, that's what they want to do. They need to be more open about it. They need to stop trying to act like that they're trying to sell to comic book readers, because they're not. That's the biggest problem there. They need to be more honest with their fan base and saying, well, we decided we're not making books for you. We're making books for this fan base that doesn't exist. And if that was the case, then that's what's going to happen. And here's
Nurgle knows how to preach.
But here's the thing, though. Marvel Comics can survive failing and losing money, because Disney only needs Marvel to keep the licenses of these characters so they can keep making movies. Now, when the movies start hitting subpar content, you know, when the movies start failing and losing money, that's when they're going to start going, okay, Marvel, what the fuck are you doing? That's when things are going to get fixed. But you guys have to be patient. You got to stop expecting change to happen overnight when it comes to this shit. The biggest, brightest thing you can do is fucking tell people that, you know, the biggest, brightest thing you can fucking do is be critics about it, criticize it, but don't engage these fucking people. Don't tell these fucking, don't fucking talk to them. Just sit there and document the garbage they say.
I can see now why your worshippers dig you.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though, is it drives me insane. It's like you engage with these people, you say toxic things to them, you say fucked up shit, and then you get fucking pissed off at the guy's attitude back to you. Okay, I get you. But you know this dude is a piece of shit. You know this dude's a jackass. Don't goddamn feed the fucking bullshit. Just follow the dude around on Twitter, watch his tweets, and fucking document the garbage he says, and then spread it like a fucking plague to the world. Show it off to as many people as possible. Show it to as many people who are fans of comic books so they can see the kind of piece of shit these people are. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're good writers, and we've already proven these people are not good writers. But in the end, what matters is if the fan bases start seeing what these people are saying. Because you got to remember, the internet is a bubble. Everybody working in the internet is in a fucking bubble. So normal people, normal comic book fans that you see every day, they're not following this kind of shit. They might be looking at a Marvel book and be like, man, what the fuck is this crap? And they might be fans of, like, say, Dan Slott, who writes Amazing Spider-Man, which, regardless of what the fuck people say, Amazing Spider-Man is still making money for Marvel.
Yeah.
It's still selling. So part of that is you're going to have to make sure people see it. And in subsequent parts of it, you know, you have the comic book shops. You know, the retailers are in a catch-22 because they have to order Marvel and stock it on the shelves, because if they don't, then they will lose money, because they still make some money off of it, but it's costing them so much money because they have such a minimum amount that they have to buy. They have to buy a particular amount per book in order to stock it. And what needs to be done in that side of the house is the readership, the fans, the customers, they have to start expressing to the retailers that we're not buying this. Stop stocking it, because it's not gonna sell. We're not buying it. You keep stocking it, you're just costing yourself money. And that's where the readership has to start looking into the other stuff that's out there to help. If you really give a shit about your local comic shop and these retailers, you support them by buying the other products that aren't Marvel. You support them by saying, hey, you know, I really like the current run of Vampirella. I'm going to go with that. You know? Or I really like what DC's doing. I'm going to start reading that instead. Stop buying Marvel.
Patty Warpig on Twitter, he retweeted, he said, hashtag SJWs always lie, hashtag Comicsgate, and screen capped something, Javier Garcia. I probably butchered that to hell and back, but who cares?
Here's the other thing. I gotta say it. Comicsgate, and I know that there's a group of people right now that will not agree with me on this, and they're gonna say I'm full of shit. But Comicsgate, yes, does it have the similarities with Gamergate? 100% it does. Abso-fucking-lutely, it does. But here's the problem. Whereas Gamergate was initially a revolt against the gaming media.
Yeah.
Because I know people say, well, they're in the industry. Yeah, they're in the industry, but they're not really affecting it as nowhere near as much as you fucking think it is. I don't understand, but they're not. Yeah, you've got EA, and you got some of Ubisoft's garbage.
Yeah, and they're losing money right now.
When have they been relevant? You know, and how long has it been since they've really been relevant? I mean, the only reason anybody is at all interested in Ubisoft right now is because of Assassin's Creed Origins, which personally I think is a step in the right direction for the Ass Creed variant.
There's also which I'm kind of upset that they brought back this franchise a couple of years back, but then again, they're not going to bring it back after what they did.
What?
It was blah, 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 blah. It was their first-person shooter franchise, which was Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six.
Oh, that. Yeah, but anyway, back on what I was saying though, and then you have EA. Yeah, EA has definitely dabbled in the dumb shit, but they've been losing money.
Yeah,
they're not doing that great.
Well.
Star Wars Battlefront is probably their only saving grace right now.
Yeah, they are, and they're also planning to release another game in the future, which was done by...
And then they got that Anthem game coming from BioWare, and I'm sorry, but after Andromeda, I will never buy another title with BioWare's name on it. I don't give a shit who did it.
Well,
even if it wasn't Montreal, I don't care.
Well, here's the thing I found out. They rehired what was his name? From BioWare.
Did they bring back Man v. Hair?
No, they did not bring back Man here. Thank God they didn't.
Yeah, man here deserves to... Nurgle, take it away.
Well, I don't want to talk about Man v. Hair. Anyway...
Yeah, less said about that garbage human, the better off all three of us are going to be.
They're bringing back, let's see, Drew Crispin and Krapischen, whatever his name is, and Casey Hudson, which was the lead designer of the original Mass Effect. Which is good news, because I miss Casey Hudson.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Yep.
But anyway, though, what I'm trying to say is, with Gamergate it was ultimately an attack and a revolt against the gaming media. You know, exposing their collusion, exposing the unethical practices and all the bullshit that was going on.
And it's kind of
and how they were trying to weasel their way in and completely 100% control the industry, which they almost did gain full control over, but it really didn't happen for the simple fact that, well, the gaming industry cares more about money than it gives a shit about fucking social justice. The Comicsgate, though, is not a revolt against the media. Is it a faction of it? Yes, it is part of it. But ultimately, it's a revolt against the actual industry itself.
The comic book media.
Unfortunately, this is the reality of what we're looking at. And in order to defeat this, you have to do what most people are not willing to do, which is hit them in the wallet.
Yeah.
You got to hit them in their pocketbook, which means you got to hold your wallet. You got to stop buying shit by Marvel. Now listen up. I know someone said, "Well, you need to boycott Marvel Studios and don't go see the Thor movies, or you don't need to buy the toys." Marvel Comics doesn't make shit off the fucking studios. Yeah. Marvel Comics is not making shit off of toy sales and none of that. Marvel Comics is strictly the comics. You know who's making money off the toy sales? Disney. You know who's making money off of Marvel Studios? Disney. Marvel Comics is only there to keep the licenses alive for Marvel Studios. That's why they're there. And if you want Marvel Comics and the industry to fix itself, one of these giants, one of the Goliaths of the industry has to die and has to fall. And that, in this case, is Marvel. Everyone needs to look at Marvel and say, I'm not buying another comic book from you assholes ever again. That is what you do to fix this. Yeah. Because, and that's why I get so pissed off. Like when our buddy Doku, and Doku's a good guy.
Yeah.
But when he came in, he's like, support the books that you like. No, if it has Marvel's name on it, you do not buy it. You just stop altogether. Cold turkey that shit. That's all you got to do. And you're good, man. Yeah. That is the only way you're going to fix the comics industry. That is the only way things are going to fix themselves. And I'm going to tell you right now, the shit is going to get fixed because these things work themselves out.
We're expecting a lot of things happening soon. One is Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther.
Well, it's not that. It's not that, JT. It's just we're in that era where everything has become political, where everything is PC culture, garbage culture, war stuff. Yeah. We're just in that rotation. And once that ends, because it will end soon, within the next 5 years, this shit's going to start dying down. That's when things are going to start going back to normal. That's when things are going to start being what they are. Right now, you're dealing with that resurgence of the protest culture and all that shit. Yeah. And that's why
that started since the 90s.
Well, it's not even that. It's just it builds up. You know, you have 8 years of the Democratic presidency. And so for 8 years, well, listen, for 8 years, the left started taking over more and more and more and more. And now we are in the situation where we're going to have the right focusing in and taking over more and more and more. And then we're going to be battling against the far right bullshit. You guys have got to understand, this is a constant rotation that happens every 8 fucking years. And the culture war shit sparks up towards the end of it every time.
Yeah. And the problem is people always lie, try to make themselves look good, but unfortunately, at times when the truth comes out, they'll find themselves looking like idiots.
You just have to understand that. You just got to understand that there's going to be, with the culture war stuff, there's going to be casualties of that war. You're going to see companies that you love fall down and die. And unfortunately, Marvel's one of them.
Yeah, unfortunately.
As far as I'm concerned, the day that Stan Lee finally leaves this world is the day that Marvel Comics actually does die.
Yeah, and they need to step up their game.
They need to leave that old man alone too, man. That shit just really pisses me off.
Well, he did his own thing a while back, which was POW Entertainment. You may recall about that.
Yeah, I know, and it's just I want to see. I'd like to see them leave Stan Lee alone. He's in his twilight years. It's time for him to move on and let him live his life out and finish up. Because I mean, unfortunately, his wife passed away not that long ago.
That's true.
And
My
he hasn't
condolences
really
go
had that
to
chance to sit down and grieve.
Yeah. But Stan,
I mean,
if it helps you, man, we enjoy your cameos in those Marvel movies.
Yeah.
oh, his cameos are the stuff of legends.
Amen, brother.
But we just really need to. You just kind of have to sit back and watch the show.
Yeah.
That's really what you have to do. You can be vocal, you can be loud and say, I fucking hate this shit, fuck this garbage. You know, you can say what you want to do. That's perfectly fine.
Read some DC comics because I heard Metal was selling pretty well, and I think that Comic Shop still has a copy of it.
Oh, by the by, guys, I actually have a DC graphic novel by the name of The Killing Joke. It's right here in my room.
I have that
Oh, The
too.
Killing Joke was a good classic, but that was kind of the beginning of the fall of the comic industry. Actually, a lot of people won't think that. A lot of people will be like, "Nah, no, that doesn't make any sense." Actually, it does. But
Let's see what they have.
But anyway, though, it's just if you want the comic book industry to get back to normal and get back on track, you have to let it run its course. You have to let this shit happen. Because eventually, enough money will be lost, enough shareholders will come in there, start asking questions, and enough will come in and say, and then sooner or later someone will come in and say, okay, what's going on? This can't go on anymore. We can't keep doing this. Either you fix this, or we're taking over and we're going to fire you all. And eventually, that's what's going to happen. So understand that. Don't think that it's just going to fix itself overnight, though. And that's what I'm getting so sick of. That's the problem with the internet culture is they all believe that everything happens overnight and will be fixed quickly, and that's just not the case.
While we're on the subject of controversies, did anyone get wind about that Szechuan sauce debacle with Rick and Morty?
That was the dumbest shit I ever fucking heard.
How about
That
you,
shit was
JT?
dumb as hell. I think JT stepped away at the moment.
Yeah,
But
so
I
guess
think
it's
that shit
just,
was dumb, though.
Chaos God and a lowly Spurg. I'm allowed to make fun of myself. So a Deadly Alliance. That was what put Quan Chi in the friggin' record books for people I friggin' hate. Because
Quan
one does
Chi
not...
I hated Quan Chi's in Deception and in Deadly Alliance. I thought Deadly Alliance was a fun game, though.
Yeah, and that fatality music pretty much sounded like a friggin' horror movie. Now on to what you think is the best MK 3D game. Deception.
Oh, it was. Deception was the better one, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's why
And
I
it's because
mentioned that.
it's because it had some of the cool. It had some interesting characters in it,
like
and it
Kira
had
here.
one of the coolest modes ever, which was the Conquest mode, which allowed you to wander all over the different realms and explore this vast world of MK.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the greatest part about it.
Well, for
and
me,
you never had anything cool like that ever again, really.
Well, for me, It's all about the fatalities, the post-fatality victory poses, and of course, Onaga. Enough said about him.
I was never fond of Onaga. I thought Onaga was kind of a silly character.
He tanked a blast from Lord Raiden.
I don't care. I just was never fond of him.
Fair enough.
He was just not one of my favorite characters. That's all.
I hear spoon clanking.
But anyway, I mean, I'm probably gonna head out pretty soon. I just figured I'd pop in and say hello and see how everybody's doing. I see
Well,
that
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
the JT guy Meister's here, so
Oh, there. Yeah. Well. Yeah, between Melina and Isha, I think you got your hands full when it comes to wives, man.
see, that's the costume I liked from Melina. I loved that version of Melina. I didn't like the way her face looked without the mask in those old versions. I like the way her face looks now in MKX, but I loved that Deception costume. I always thought it was so cool.
Yeah. I, for one, kind of preferred, now this design is probably one of my better favorites. That and Baraka's MK alternate costume from MK9.
Yeah, I liked the way he looked in MK9. I thought that was a good costume scheme. The characters I always hated was I couldn't stand Kung Lao. I always wondered why Kung Lao was still always around. Why couldn't we get somebody other than Kung Lao? I cannot stand that character now.
Let's see. Detective Comics. Actually, the Detective Comics were pretty good. I might buy the Swan Thing.
Yeah. But why would you want to get Swamp Thing? He's a playable character in Injustice 2.
Swamp Thing is a cool character, though.
Yeah, he's always been. Yeah, I used to watch when I grew up watching him in a movie once. That's why.
That old movie with Burt Reynolds. Sell it.
That one actress that everyone likes.
Burt Reynolds?
No,
that's an actor, Nurgle.
No, Burt Reynolds wasn't in that movie.
I don't care what anyone says. Burt Reynolds was like in every movie back then.
Including Malone.
No, it was a cheesy ass movie, but it was funny as hell. And I used to remember the TV series.
Harley referenced it in a part of Chapter 2.
Yeah, I heard.
Really?
Yes. See, Nurgle, if you would actually play the story mode, you would learn this stuff.
My God, I'm playing the original Star Fox right now, and I'm like, damn. Why did we think this game was so cool back then?
Yeah.
Hey, I have a soft spot for the classics,
And the
Nurgle.
weird part is that it was directed by Wes Craven.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about that old original fucking movie. It was really fucking bad.
Yes, it was really bad, but I liked it.
It was like one of Wes Craven's first films ever.
Yep.
May he rest in peace.
Yep. And it got him to learn how to make movies.
But it didn't get Robert Englund or Johnny Depp to superstardom.
No, it didn't.
That would be Nightmare on Elm Street.
No, it
and
didn't.
We'll get to that
Actually,
soon.
21 Jump Street made him get into stardom.
Who, Depp?
Yeah, what that movie not Friday, but Nightmare on Elm Street was kind of what got him into it, but it got him into acting, but 21 Jump Street is what got his career where it is today.
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Johnny Depp. Yeah, because a lot of people don't watch that show, but then again, I kind of got pissed off when they did the remake of it, like the movie.
The movie was great, though, man.
It was, but I kind of got upset.
I mean, it was a cheeseball comedy flick, but it was good.
Yeah, but they kind of killed him off. You didn't realize that Johnny Depp and Peter DeLuise was in that show. They used to be like the two guys that always like partnered up in the show, and they killed each other stupidly.
I mean, it was a great movie. I mean, I loved it when they had the cameo of Johnny Depp in it. That was even better.
And Peter DeLuise.
That fucking cameo was great.
No one realized Peter DeLuise was in there too. It was like, and I liked it. I liked it, Peter DeLuise in the show. It's just a shame that he wasn't.
I don't know. I mean, I always thought it was a good. I thought it was a good one of the better like '80s shows revivals on the big screen.
All right, guys, I'm gonna hit the sack.
But the funny thing about
He's
Peter
gonna
DeLuise,
hit the sack.
The funny about Peter
He's gonna
DeLuise
hit the sack.
is that now he's like the producer of
All right. Well, are we ending this stream or is it still gonna keep going?
I'll probably end the show. I'm just gonna bring up something about Peter DeLuise is that he actually.
I say you end this shit now.
I will. Seriously.
This shit ends now.
Okay. I'll end the show. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, even though this was a boring show. Thank you.
Boring?
No.
Whoa. Boring?
No, it was kind of a boring show. It should have ended, but then again, I'm going to go ahead and end it anyways.
You ever say I'm boring again, I will come over to your house and I will fuck you.
Please don't. You know this is...
It's that awkward.
You know that's awkward.
Awkward silence? Because he knows I'm serious. He knows I'll do it, too.
No, don't.
I'll do it. I ain't afraid. I ain't afraid, motherfucker.
You realize you just said that on the show, right?
I know I said it on the show.
And you realize it the title of the stream is, right?
What? You're breaking up really bad, sir.
It's Hollywood American Horror Story. That's the title of the stream.
Hollywood American Horror Story? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, we were...
I ain't afraid.
Yes. So you're going to try to attack me.
I don't give a fuck.
All right. All right, guys.